Hi everybody, thank you for coming to my class. We're actually here at UH West Oahu in E133 in my physics class, physics lab. And I'm really excited to share with you some of my perspectives, answering more in-depthly what is osmosis and where is that in the context. My application of osmosis really comes from wastewater engineering. And so you have to take physics, statics, dynamics, fluids, so you can understand the movement of particles. What you're really looking at is you have a particle, all these different dots. We can represent that as a particle. And let's say we have a boundary, number 1 right here. And these particles are within a liquid. So I put a triangle upside down. This tells me it's the surface. And let's say everything in here, let's say it's water. And then let's say these black particles right here are molecules. And they're NaCl. They're salt particles. And so really what we're looking at is how do we move these particles within this solution? So we can call this black particle a solute because it's a particle or a molecule. And then we can call this solution, let me change it to blue, so to solvent. And let's say the solvent is water. This is where we have to name and identify the different parts before we begin to share like the definitions. Osmosis is just one particular description of movement between a solvent and a solute and this interaction. So now that we've got the basics of understanding of what definitions that I'm going to be using, I can begin to answer the question of what is osmosis. But before you can actually answer the question of osmosis, you're really looking at the particle and you're asking the question, where does the particle go? Or are you looking at the solvent and going, where does the solvent go? It really depends on what your goal is in that. So in osmosis, for instance, let's imagine there's a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. Permeable membrane. Why is it called semi? Well, there's holes right here. I'm just drawing them in black that allow for the movement of particles, solute and solvent to go through. And so let's just zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in right over here and I'm gonna make it really, really big so we can see what is happening right here at this interface. So we have the impervious interface right here. This is an interface, impervious membrane interface. And then where this is open, this is pervious or permeable. This has a size. So this has a radius, we like to say, or a diameter or pore diameter. Pore radius or pore diameter, which allows for movement going from side 1 to side 2. That's very, very important because we're looking at the interplay, the interaction between the solute and the solvent. So the solute are the particles and the solvent is the liquid phase, the fluid phase. So the solvent could be not only water, it could be anything. It could be another liquid or it could be another fluid. Or fluid is a liquid or a gas, or it could be gases. So you can say the solute is in a liquid, some type of liquid, whether it's water or whatever, or you can say that the solute, whatever that molecule or particle is in a gas. And so all we're looking at is this interaction of this movement between step one, initial position, to the final position. Chotelier's principle from chemistry, like the earth will recorrect itself. I remember that as a conversation from my honors chemistry teacher, Mr. Kim. But you and I don't have that much time on earth. We're just here with the blink of an eye. And the nature will self-organize to heal itself, but we should take care of that. Every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. That comes from Newton's third law. But we may assume that our action the reaction won't be that bad, but you never know. And that's why we're cautiously optimistic and cautiously hopeful for certain things and outcomes in what we do. But we're so careful. It's like, should I do this? Because will this cause water to be dirty? If it does, is it worth making water dirty to get the result that I need? For example, for Red Hill, does it make sense to build millions and millions and millions of gallons of oil 10 feet above the aquifer system and say, yeah, it's gonna protect it, when this was built in the 1930s and 40s, and we're in 2020, that's like almost 100 years ago? Structures aren't necessarily built to last unless it was built with the environment. There's political reasons why they're doing that, because we are the tip of the spear for the United States of America, for their military agenda and the global politics. But at the same time, we only have one water system, aquifer system. And just imagine that the island's above here, and this is the aquifer system, and we have different straws being put into there to draw out the water that's clean. And we have one of the most cleanest water in the world. But if we have that water pollute into our aquifer and we're all pulling from it, we're gonna get sick. That's just it. There's no way we can reverse this. Once it's dirty, it's dirty. It's gonna cost even more money. And if we even think about, oh yeah, you know what? We could just do reverse osmosis and these other things. Why would we do these other things when the Creator already made clean water? The lesson here is to keep the water clean and protect it. And that's like that for other places, because a lot of over pumping, it's a very complex issue. However, that's big picture. We all understand that. But my message to you is go deeper into the process.